Well, so in this situation, I cheat a little bit. Okay, I cheat a little bit because although I don't mind the lattice method, I do find it easier sometimes and less chance of making a mistake to just add something up because adding's easy. My loyalty points are worth £17.50. That's how much they're worth. If I change them for travel vouchers, I'm going to get 3 times the value of that. So basically that's that, isn't it? 1750 times 3. Now you can do that any way you want. You can do it the lattice method. You can do it the old-fashioned multiplication way. Me, a bit lazy, and I like to cheat. So I just do this. I just added it 3 times rather than times it 3 times. It's the same answer, just made it a bit easier. Made it a bit easier because you've got this little thing in the middle there, that decimal point starts to get a bit tricky. We'll look at decimals and times in decimals shortly. But if I've got a number with a decimal point and I have to times it, I prefer to add it. I prefer to add it together. It is so much more straightforward than trying to do the multiplications because you get your decimal point in the wrong place sometimes. Okay, does that make sense? So we know now that his loyalty points are worth £52.50p. 52.50. So that's that bit of the sum done. Okay, we're halfway there nearly. Brian wants to book 2 tickets. The tickets are £33.25 and 29 quid. That's fairly straightforward, isn't it? 33.25 plus £29. Put a couple of notes there, 29 quid. Let's add up. 3 plus 9, 12. So it's £62.25 for the tickets, but he's only got £52.50. That's a subtraction left now, isn't it? Yeah, that's a subtraction left. So 62.25 minus 52.50. Decimal point there. 5 take away nothing. 2 take away 5. Oh, we can't do that, can we? So we pop next door, we borrow 1. 12 take away 5, that becomes a 7. 1 take away 2, we can't do that either. So we cross that out, that then becomes a 5, that becomes an 11. So 11 take away 2, that's going to give us 9. 5 take 5 is nothing. So he actually owes on his card £9.75. Yeah? So far so good. That was quite straightforward. Not easy, but quite straightforward. Let's see if we've got the right answer. There we go, 9.75. So you can see the makeup of the question. Because those aren't classed as terribly difficult, they tell you a story first. Yeah? And what I have always said is what I need to imagine you to do if in this situation you are Brian. Yeah? You've got to become Brian. And you've got to have gone to Tesco and got 17.50s worth of vouchers which you're now going to exchange for 3 times the value, and then you're going to buy 2 tickets. You've got to be that person. And if you are that person, if you can be in that question, it makes it more real. Because you can imagine doing that, can't you? You can imagine buying 2 ferry tickets. Well, how much do I got to pay there? Yeah, that kind of stuff. And you can try, it makes it real. It makes it real. And that will help you with your questions. Okay? That's the last slide. I don't believe it. It is the last slide. So, what we're going to do next. Okay. Do I introduce you to decimals? Let's find out what the time is.
I got £9.75 the first time, overthought it, and then got £8.75
Overthought it.
with the decimal points.
With the decimal points. I think we need to look at decimals then, don't we? Yeah? I think we need to look at decimals. So, do you think you'd be okay with just some additions, with more practice, some additions, some subtractions, multiplications and divisions? I do know that when we come back to do revision, that at some point division will get mentioned again. You'll start to become pretty good at multiplications, to be perfectly honest, because you'll use the lattice method. And if you don't use the lattice method, you'll do that. I always do this when I'm timesing. I just find it so much easier. It's just a little cheat. There's nothing to say. There's nothing to say in that question that you have to multiply. Yeah, you're not going to mark down if you don't multiply, as long as you multiply that or increase that 3 times, you've got the right answer. Whether you increase it 3 times by adding or by doing the multiplication, that's entirely up to yourselves. So, let's introduce you to some decimals. I'll just switch that off for a second.